Okay, so we're going with a new software this year for coding our Vex V5. We're going with the VexCode. In the past, we had used VexCode Pro. So you can see over here we got our V5 connected up. So very different. Now let's just get started. If you go to vexrobotics.com, VexCode install V5, or if you literally just Google VexCode, you should be able to get to this page. And on this page, you can just go right here. We don't need to download anything. All you do is click on codev5.vex.com. And here we go. If you don't see this, there's a way to change it from text to drag and drop. We are going to use the text. It looks like this. And you're going to say File, Open Examples. And in the examples, we have these menu items up at the top. And I'm going to say motion. Let's look at smart motor movements. And we'll discard our previous project. And this is in Python. This is what it looks like. And real quick, remember the motor, the icon that looks like the motor is the configuration panel. This is really important. If I click on it, these are the pre-configured motors. Let's take a look at my V5. That corresponds to these slots up here. And I don't know whether it's bright enough for you to be able to read that, but there are numbers on there. I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then at the bottom, you really can't see that, but that goes up to 20. So anyway, that means that if we go back to our configuration panel here, this number 1 here corresponds to putting a motor into that particular port here. You can see that we are connected here. So what if I went ahead and put it into number 1? There. All right. Well, a couple of things. Let's maximize this again. So this is the drivetrain. These would be your drive motors. It works great, but it does have some parameters that you need to understand are in place. So let's just click on drivetrain here. First of all, it means that we're connected, like I said before, to port number 1 and port number 10 right there. Pull this back. Port number 10 there. And but in addition to that, the wheel size means the the diameter. A really big tall wheel would be more like 6 inches, and then there are smaller wheels. So you got to use a 4-inch wheel for all your commands to work the way this says they're going to work. Your track width here is from one wheel to the other. Your wheel base is from the rear wheel to the front wheel. And your gear ratio is based on this gear cartridge, the green gear cartridge. If you're using different gear cartridges, like sometimes we use the high strength, high power gear cartridge, the red one, then you need to select it there in order for all this to result in what the program says it should do. So that means we're connected to ports number 1 and port number 10. And I'm going to say done. And okay, now the way this program begins, all of the references are claw motor, claw motor, claw motor, claw motor, over and over again. And if you go to the very end, it was nothing but claw motor reference. differences. Well, that was referring to this motor here, which would have been connected to port number 3 on here. That means we would have had to take our motor out of number 1 and put it into number 3. Fine. If I do that, and I'm in number 3, and I run this program, I'm going to say, let's X out of this. Brain. It says no brain connected, so I don't have the option. I need to say connect. Just continue. This came up for me before. Turned out column 5 was the one I needed, at least before. I'm going to try connecting. Now that that happened, we do have the download option available. I'm going to download. This is so much better and faster in terms of how it opens up, how it downloads everything compared to VexCode Pro. And if I say start, it should run this program. And okay, motor went. Great. All right. But real quick, let's finish up here. What if we wanted to use this old drivetrain thing, the 1 and the 10? Assuming that we had a 4-inch wheel and that our robot was this size, then we would have some pretty cool things that will make our lives easier under Drivetrain right here. And I'm going to select this guy right there, Drivetrain.drive4. I'm going to put it right, well, let's put it right there. Okay, so this is basically says that it's going to go forward for 200 millimeters. And later on, there's a drivetrain turn right 90 degrees. If we set this thing up, our robot, with the right size wheel, the right wheelbase, the right track width, and I have this turn, it will turn exactly 90 degrees. This would be really, really helpful. But for now, we're just going to do this drivetrain forward. But if we want these motors to go, we're going to have to put them into port number 1 or port number 10. So let's take it out of port number 3, put it over to port number 1, and now we're in one of the ports that should drive a motor. This should go for whatever 200 millimeters would be. Let's go ahead and download that. And then start. And wasn't very much. So let's change this. Let's make it 10,000 millimeters. Download. Start. You can see our motor going there, going for a ways. Well, it's going and going. Great. There it is. There's an introduction. We'll continue on with a lot of these Python commands and language, but this is a huge improvement over VexCode Pro.